Hello, everybody. This is Paul Lutheran, your ordinary Lutheran North Country guy, and I have come to talk to you about Proverbs 7 today. Proverbs 7 is mostly a story going all the way through about two people that need a better alarm system. That's the way I put it. They should have a little bell going on in their head to show that would be their conscience to tell them that something wrong is there before them, that this is temptation. And it should be going to tell them to listen even to common sense and to remember that God knows the things that we do. Well, this is how it goes in my version of the story. You can read it for yourself. The man is out there looking for a certain kind of trouble. And the woman, she's out there looking to try to give that kind of trouble to him. I think that's maybe the way to put it. So it says he's kind of going aimlessly, but I think he has in the back of his mind a certain kind of aim. Anyway, she comes along and she says something like, "Hey, big boy, you want to get lucky?" Maybe not exactly that language, but that's kind of what it is. I've got my place all ready, and you should see the beautiful sheets on my bed, so you know that she's not inviting him over for a cup of coffee, whether it's good Lutheran coffee or some other kind of coffee. She is There's something else that is on her mind, and she talks about all the spices that she's got, the fragrance in the air, the perfume, the nice music on the stereo. Well, maybe not that, but that kind of thing. And he's thinking it sounds pretty nice and starts to follow along because she is talking sweet talking to him. But the alarm should have gone off when she says, "I had to pay my vows and I have my sacrifices." Now, this means she took an animal, she had it sacrificed, and she has some of the leftover meat, so it's time to celebrate. But that's well, maybe this was at a pagan shrine, in which case the bell should have gone off that said, you shall have no other gods before me." Or maybe she was going to the temple of the one true God for the sacrifices, and now she has all this meat to have a big feast with this guy. But then there should have been a bell that said, to obey is better than to sacrifice. You don't. It doesn't make sense to worship God and then to turn around and do the things that God doesn't like. Not common sense to do that. The bell should have gone off in their head. And then she says, "My husband is away on a business trip." That also should have made the bell go off. "You shall not commit adultery." Now, I don't know, it doesn't say whether the guy was married, but there, if she says my husband's away, she's saying that she's married. And so, "You shall not commit adultery," and Luther's Small Catechism, says, I know they didn't have it, but we can listen to it. What does this mean? We are to fear and love God so that we live pure and decent lives in word and deed, and each of us loves and honors his or her spouse. But it's not honoring her spouse if she does this, is it? Something should have gone like this. Now, maybe her husband was a jerk, but it doesn't say to honor your spouse except when they're a jerk. So all these things should have happened, but what they do is what people like us like to do with our conscience, and that's to ring it like this. We muffle it. We muffle it by not listening to it. We muffle by making it a habit to not listen to what we know is really right. We muffle it when we don't pay attention to the God's word or when we forget the Ten Commandments. There's lots of ways in which we can muffle it. And so then it goes like this, and it doesn't do the work that it's supposed to do, and then we get into foolishness. But if we want to live wise lives, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. So let the bells ring. Let the conscience keep us from getting into things that we know are wrong. And no matter how much nicer and seductive it might seem to follow the foolishness. So that's what I find here in this chapter 7, and I hope that's helpful to you anyway. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow, I hope. Okay, good. Now, there it is.